After years of waiting, a part of Percy Jackson and the Olympians with Rick Riordan at the helm is finally streaming, and the reviews are more than positive. The audience is praising the perfect actor-character matches that are doing a good job with the storytelling, but how did the actors get their parts? And why was their casting so controversial? The pressure to find the perfect main trio and the rest of the cast was high. After one disappointment, which was the previous movies, the production was determined to not make the same mistakes as the predecessors. Author of the Percy Jackson series, Rick Riordan, described the casting process as exhausting. According to him, the production got thousands of talented young actors' audition tapes, whose dream was to become a part of the Percy Jackson world. But they had to look for a perfect match. Rick said in the interview, but it was a question of finding the right voice, the right personality, and the right energy, and also to find 3 excellent actors who worked well together. And it looks like the production won the jackpot by casting Walker Scobell as Percy Jackson, Leah Jeffries as Annabeth Chase, and Arian Simhadri as Grover Underwood. Their chemistry could be seen from the moment they appeared together during the events that promoted the show. One of the bigger conditions during the casting process was to find actors who were in the precise time frame of The Lighting Thief, where Percy and Annabeth are just 12 years old. The age of the characters makes the story more terrifying because these children are magnets for dangerous situations. When it comes to Arian's audition process, he was a huge fan of Percy's adventures even before the show was in development. According to him, his friend sent him an open call and he tried to get the role.
I submitted a tape and I was like, I don't know, might as well just see what happens. And then I didn't hear back for like 3 months. And then I got a proper callback with new sides. They remembered who I was. And I started freaking out in my little New York apartment.
Rick also praised his audition performances, during which Arian made him laugh many times. What's more, his character is a perfect match to Grover. Sweet, thoughtful, and funny. Arian might have not been very positive about his chances, but he was cast, and now we can enjoy his acting. To show his commitment, he learned to walk like a goat, and the side effect was that he had to think about putting his heel down on the floor instead of doing it automatically. It's not really necessary to say that Walker Scobell's audition blew the casting crew's minds. The Adam Project, where he starred alongside Ryan Reynolds, was just a taste of his abilities and how perfect he'll be as sassy but brave Percy Jackson. The writer of the series saw the potential instantly from Walker's tapes, as he wrote on his website that it was clear that the young actor had everything needed: comedic timing, snark, rebelliousness, sweetness, but also heroism, which perfectly represents the famous Half-Blood. What's more, Walker knew the character he was auditioning for. He read all the books, and what more can a fan want after the disastrous movies with Logan Lerman? According to Walker, it really helped him that he and Percy have very similar types of humor, but the process was a long one, which is always a good sign for an actor. Walker auditioned in January 2021, then he got pinned the next month, and then he was asked to do 2 callbacks several months later. Walker learned that he was cast in the show during a Zoom call with his parents next to him. He also wore the orange Half-Blood Camp t-shirt, which was rather symbolic.
Congratulations, you are Percy Jackson. You got the part.
It was a year later after he first auditioned for the role of the hero. After he was cast, he said in the interview that while being excited, he was also slightly intimidated by the expectations of the massive fan base. He set as his goal to not let down the fans and bring them the adaptation that they deserve. And from those 2 episodes, which were already released, we could see he kept the promise he made to the fans. But his casting brought some mixed initial reactions. To put it simply, the fans weren't sold on the idea of Walker portraying their favorite hero, and their problem was Walker's hair. Walker's a naturally blonde guy, but Percy has dark hair, which is the same as Poseidon's. The fans already once faced a similar disappointment when Annabeth from the movie The Lighting Thief, where Alexandra Daddario's hair is brown, not blonde. In the next movie, she had to dye her hair, but people quickly warmed to Walker as he exchanged the lack of dark hair with perfect sarcasm typical for Percy. And Rick is the backbone of hyping Walker up. He said in the interview, "The whole team is in agreement. Walker Scobell was born for this part." And that's probably the best review you can get as an actor. And the key to finding the best trio out there was the chemistry tests. Walker was the first one cast in the show, and the production found him early on, which made the process easier for them. After the casting department found their Percy, Walker was able to do the chemistry tests with the people who auditioned for the roles. As Percy is the main character of the show and everything is happening around him, it was important that Walker would have great chemistry with the rest of the cast. But some people in the show are more important to him than others, and one of those people is Poseidon, who's portrayed by Toby Stephens. According to Rick, their scenes together gave him chills, and it was easy to forget that those two aren't a parent and a child. It was a sign that the choice of the god of the sea was the correct one. A big chunk of Walker's time was chemistry tests with the actors who were supposed to portray Annabeth and Grover. According to him, there were 11 people chosen to play Annabeth and Grover. That's about 30 different combinations, and Walker had to be there in every one of them. What's more, with each group, he had to do at least 3 takes, which is a lot even for a grown-up and not a 12-year-old. One of the candidates at the time, Arian, who portrays Grover in the show, was feeling bad for Walker because of all the work. He said in the interview that Walker was exhausted from all the takes with different Grovers. Arian also said, and so James, the director of the first couple episodes, was like, all right, let's move on to the next. And Walker was just like, that wasn't it. There's more. Walker said in the interview that with Leah, they matched instantly and knew that Leah was perfect for the role of Annabeth. But when it comes to Grover, that wasn't so easily decided. The chemistry test with Arian was more difficult. According to Arian, he tried to prove himself, but Walker's only response was that Arian never really proved himself. He said in the interview, he really tried. That's the most important part, he tried. When it comes to Leah's audition, she charmed the casting crew almost immediately. Rick praised her for bringing energy, enthusiasm, and strength to the role of Annabeth. According to him, she has something in her that makes her a leader, but there's also the vulnerability that reminded him of Annabeth. What's more, she's about to become a role model to many young children. Leah read the books even before the show was in production, but she didn't become a fan. It was her brother who loved the books. But once she was auditioning, she went highly motivated through the first 3 books with her attention on Annabeth. Her likes and dislikes, her appearance, and her voice. It's not a surprise that in the later stages of the auditions, she started to put more of her own personality into the role. Once everything clicked for her, she understood that she had a real chance to get the part, and the rest is history. But even an amazing casting didn't stop the immediate internet backlash. In the book, Annabeth is described as a blonde girl with stormy gray eyes. Instead, they cast a black girl who doesn't fit the physical description, and for the fans of the books, it was a major lapse of judgment. All of these led to the picking up of a teenage girl, but Leah didn't let them crawl under her skin. Instead, she made a video where she said, I know you think it's going to hurt me. It's not. You're just wasting your time. I'm still confident in myself, but Rick was sure of his decision and made a statement on his webpage where he basically wrote, Leah is Annabeth, deal with it, in support of the actress. What's more, her predecessor, Alexandra Daddario, wrote on Twitter, Leah Jeffries is going to be an incredible Annabeth. The statement shut up many people. From the moment the casting process started, Rick tried to be as inclusive of actors as possible. Everyone should have had at least a chance to become their favorite hero. So the fact that Leah doesn't match the description wasn't really important. What's more, her casting was a benefit when it came to the representation among the cast. The choices made in the casting were all in the spirit of the story. Percy is struggling with ADHD and dyslexia, which brought many problems in the school. According to him, the book was created so everybody could be the hero, and the internet trolls should remember that. Even with all of the struggles and auditions going on for a long time, we've got an impressive cast, and it'll be interesting to see more of their performances. Who from the cast of Percy Jackson and the Olympians impressed you the most so far? Let us know in the comments.